All right, welcome to another week of the Coaches Show. I'm Cody Eastis with Eastis Media and My Country 98.3, joined by head coach of the Pratt High Greenbacks, Brent Hoelting. Brent, appreciate you coming in, sitting down, always taking time to come out and do these each week, and us and along with the fans and everybody, I appreciate the time you set aside for us. Friday night game, had Cheney here at home, game 2 of a 3-game home stretch here for the Greenbacks. Had Halstead the week before, Cheney this week, and then host Hoisington this week, and we'll get to that as that's a homecoming matchup, big matchup for the Greenbacks. But let's go back and recap that Cheney game a little bit. 49-0 was the final score there. I don't think it was that. I mean, on paper that looks bad, but being there, I don't think it was that bad. Granted, we've been talking about it here before we got going. Cheney is a good ball team, so not to take anything away from them. They got some great players, Voth and Messenger and Verdict and a few other I can't think of off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but,
on and on.
You watch them play, and you're like, boy, those are ball players. You can see why they're 4-0 and have high hopes this season. But I thought it was I thought the Greenbacks played a good game. We had the early injury to Max Uni, who was leading the state in rushing and touchdowns. And anytime you have a team with a player so dominant go down like that, tough to recover from, and it proved to be the case Friday night.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, Cheney's really, really good. I mean, they beat a lot of teams like that and worse. And I thought it kind of slipped away. It's always hard if Max is out, especially a guy like Max who's so ball dominant, and obviously we practice a lot of stuff with Max. He's going to get the ball, and when he goes down, the second drive of the game, when we had first down inside their 20, when he went down and we're driving down to tie it, that's going to hurt just from a repetition standpoint as a high school. Those other kids, we had to move Tay over to tailback. He always gets all the F reps. Excuse me. We're already down Creston there. So we had to move Owen and Kyler Barker, which I thought both did a great job coming in and filling in. But it's just hard when you don't get very many reps during the week in practice. Sometimes to maintain the continuity. So then I thought we slipped into a few blocking mistakes and stuff that we normally don't do, just because we had so many people in new positions. Those things happen, and the hard part is when you play a team as good as Cheney, they accentuate all of those flaws that you have anyway. So I thought our kids did good. I thought Tay Wilson played a heck of a game.
Yeah, he's had 2 great games.
Great
just
games.
Tough, hard-nosed games.
And really proud of how his leadership has progressed. He's doing a great job for us. And we were inside their 20, or inside their 33, 4 times.
Well, I think we ran 56 plays to their 27. So, we had the ball in our possession, ran a lot of offense, just not able to convert those drives to points.
Right. We had some timely, unfortunate penalties and some things like that. Like I said, we missed a few miscommunication, but that's what we wanted to do going into the game, is we knew our best defense was going to be our offense and to pound the ball, long drives, keep it out of their hands. And I thought script was going perfectly on the first drive with Max. And, unfortunately he gets injured and really he's out for, he wanted to give it a go and just wasn't right in the second half. Credit to Cheney, but I thought our kids did some good things and saw a lot of things we can learn from on tape.
Yeah, I thought so too. Even that first drive we hold Cheney, they got to punt the ball away and thinking, boy, here we go. That's what we wanted to do, get our offense on the field. Then we go down. Had we converted that fake punt there or that punt play, how much do you think that would have changed the dynamic of that drive for the Greenbacks, where on hindsight, Cheney then turns around and scores the very next play down 7-0. I'm just curious on that play. Had that converted and been successful and kept that drive going, I really thought that was in the position that we wanted to be in there.
Yeah, and agreed. Unfortunately, that wasn't one that we called.
I wondered.
I've
seen that before. There was a time last year. It seems like Max might have had one of those a year or two ago.
We had those. Now we had the run pass option in our old set when we rugby punted. We didn't have it in this one. They thought they saw something, and that's always a tough one. You don't want coach them calling it. We usually call it from the sideline if we want it. If we see it, and it was open.
It was open.
It was open. So he wasn't wrong. It's just sometimes we got to understand time, situation of the game. So that's unfortunate, and no one means to mess up or do anything like that. They're just trying to make a play and help their team. So yeah, we gave up that, but even then, it's 7-0. We get the ball back, and if we
and
go
that's
down
where
and
that
tie it
drive
up,
really I thought was a good drive, and then that's the drive Uni goes down. Still pick up the slack nice though from there, and then
and we tough tough spot looking back on film
I agree.
on the fourth down, or it would have
Yeah.
been first and goal at the 7.
Yeah.
And and it's just one of those things. And then same thing. We had someone new there. We missed the block on that play. The kid that tackled Tay right, inches short from the first down is the kid that's their responsibility. And that just happens when you have people in new positions. Proud of our kids for how hard they played and the way they stepped up. Like you said, I don't think the game the final score was indicative of the game flow. I thought we were more in it in the game, but their ability to score quickly and 1-2 play drives really hurt us, and we just didn't tackle as well as we needed to. And that's something we got to work on.
Yeah, the open field elusiveness of Jackson Voth was put on display. Boy, he got out in the open field and tough to bring down. And that's something we've talked about it going into the season over the summer and things, just how a young, sophomore starters and then you mix that with a bit of the injury bug and, you look 2 losses in a row, but there's still a lot of good here coming up. I mean,
sure.
I don't think that, again, losing 2 games at home is indicative of the type of season that we're having here. Cheney was a good team.
Very good team. And, we've already talked ad nauseum about the Halstead.
I said it before. That was a once in a
99 out of 100 times.
10-year ball game.
But we still got a chance this week to go win a league title. We beat Hoisington and we're there. We'd love to be undefeated in it, sure, but we're going to play the most league games, which I think counts for something, and have tied for the fewest losses. And there may be a 3-way tie there, but I told our kids, we kind of know how that game went. We know where we're at. So there's a lot to play for this week, and in general, life football season's a journey. Like you said, we had some injuries we didn't expect. We lost 2 of our 4 best D-backs early in before the season, second game of the season, and Creston and Grayson, and you know what, Grayson might still probably have glossed over and how big of an impact losing him has had, because Grayson just had an absolutely phenomenal summer. He was I thought by far our best defensive player at the Pitt State camp. he was just playing phenomenally, and the growth he had made and the speed difference in him, and not only him. We lost, unfortunately, Grayson Honer this summer to a concussion, and we lost some people that really would have helped us, and that's life. That's what we tell the kids. It's next man up. We learn from adversity, but playing a team like Cheney, like you said, we had 2 freshmen on the field for a lot of the game.
I noticed that. I didn't notice how early on Caleb Strong had came in the secondary until going back and watching film and he did a great job.
Great job.
I didn't. Who was the other freshman?
Kyler Barker.
Okay, yeah.
Played a lot on offense, and I thought Kyler did a great job. Those 2 kids are fearless, and they're going to be really good football players. But I think we had 2 freshmen and 6 or 7 sophomores get a ton of playing time the other night, and that's always tough. You're going to have growing pains when you're that young. But those kids are getting better and better. I think they're getting way better this week in practice than they were last week, and they're going to be really good football players for us in the future.
Yeah, that young playing time, it's very valuable, but it comes at a cost also. Right. There's kind of that fine line of, it's really going to pay off, just maybe not right away. Let's go over some of the awards from the night, if any handed out. I tell you, we gave after seeing your setting the precedent of carrying one over from last week. You said that the defensive one was carried over. We were carrying over the hit stick this week. The Meade Lumber hit stick wasn't given out in the booth after the game, so we hung on to that one to double up this week. Hopefully at Hoisington, fans of the game, we gave out to just all the kids that were there. That's always
awesome.
Fun.
Man, that was fun.
Whatever week it is each year that they decide to do that. You have the mini cheer clinic. You've got the junior Greenbacks. They got to run out, behind the players in the tunnel to start the game. And that just, as a fan, as a parent, that's really cool to see. So we threw some awards their way.
No, that's a lot of fun, and that's one of our favorite things to do. Our kids love it too.
Yeah.
Seeing those kids, and that's the future. Like you talked about. We always tell our kids, Greenback football. We talk all the time. Like, it was here before I got here, and you got here. It's going to be here long after we leave. But we want to leave a legacy of caring, community, and bringing those kids in and feeling part. We want those kids to be like, man, Zerger Field is the place to be on Friday nights in the fall. Like, this is awesome. And so that's the whole goal, is to get them excited, looking up to our kids. We had our kids. I know 98.3 was kind enough to donate a bunch of footballs, and our kids autographed a bunch of them.
Yeah, my kids love those. They've got a couple of them around the house. And I got one
one
autographed by Owen Schmidt and Max Union.
Yeah. No, that's fun, and our kids do a great job with those kids. We always go visit, obviously, every morning Southwest, and we greet. greet at the middle school, and we've tried to hit nursing homes, and we're trying to make a tour there and do some stuff, outreach in the community. And the cool thing is I don't have to force our kids to do that stuff. They want to do that stuff, and they love they love kids, and that's always fun to see. As far as awards, I asked our kids. I said, guys,
just hold on to them, Coach.
They said, no, we don't want them. This is a great group of kids. They said, hold it over. And I did think Owen Schmidt played really well at corner. I thought that was his best game of the year by far. We shifted him to corner. Thought he played much more natural there. I thought he really played a good game overall at corner. Tay Wilson, I thought, had an excellent game offensively. I mean, I thought he ran really hard, really tough. Almost broke a couple runs. Almost broke a kickoff. I thought Tay had an exceptional game. Really proud of him. And like you said, the kids were in favor of carrying things over. They didn't want anything this week. They said, I don't want an award with my name on it.
I like
this week.
that, though. Yeah. Nobody taking home any pats on the back after that game, at least to hang on the shelf. So before we get to Hoisington here coming up, we do have a question from Sugar Shane McGreevy this week that we got to get to. So his question is a two-parter. He said, Brent, I know you're a big Dolphins fan, and in their recent blowout victory over the Broncos, they seem to create a lot of confusion with all their pre-snap motions, which I think we've talked about. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm curious if there have been any new plays installed for the Greenbacks after watching that game. He said, if you don't wish to publicly share your answer, just wink twice. And then his second question is simple. Would you have kicked the field goal if you were Coach McDaniels to get the scoring record?
I don't know if I would have. I don't think I would have, just because the same thing. You never want to embarrass an opponent. If you get it naturally or
I understand that at the high school level.
But
at
it
the
is hard.
Professional level, I think it is a little different mindset.
Yeah, now you're right. And then the thing is, that's a record that stands for forever. What it was since 1958, it was the most points and second most yards ever. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was my weekend pick me up.
Yeah,
especially because I got a bet. Tim Rector and Chad Poor and a couple of those guys are big Broncos fans, and Coach Brown. I was a big Broncos fan of Coach Gallagher, so I had a little fun with that.
Oh yeah, you came out on the right side of that.
I did.
This weekend.
That was a lot of fun. If you remember our old offense, we had a lot of motion shifts, packages. I think the hard part is sometimes if you add too much into that, you start confusing kids. We always try to do a little bit. If you notice on Friday night, we came out with some new sets, some new stuff. I think there's always. I'm definitely a mad scientist type. I couldn't sleep last night, so I have a notebook by my bed at all times, and I drew up a bunch of stuff last night at about 2:30 in the morning. That I was like, hey, they did this.
You're right. There's that fine line though of boy, this is going to confuse the defense, but it might also confuse our kids.
Right. You're exactly right, and that's to kids that play fast are better. I don't care what it is, what they're doing. If they can play fast without thinking, they're going to be better. So there's always the line of adding enough that you give the defense headaches, but not adding enough to give your own kids headaches and play slower.
Yeah. All right. Get to Hoisington this week. Like I said, it's homecoming week for the Greenbacks. We had Hoisington last year on their homecoming at their field where we won that ball game 37-13. And Hoisington, again, is going to be a tough matchup for the Greenbacks. They come into this ball game 4-0 this season with wins over Heston, Halstead, Lions, and against Southwest Heights last week, averaging 43 points per game. And when you watch them on film, well, they're big, they're physical, have some speed, and any team coached by head coach Zach Barrett is always a team to be reckoned with, as he is, as I would say, one of the better coaches in the state with his record there at Hoisington and what he's done just year after year after year. I think 4 losses is the most losses he's had in a season at Hoisington. So just a consistent winning program up there at Hoisington. Overall, Pratt's won 28 of the 42 matchups, 14 wins for Hoisington and 28 for Pratt in their history as far as tenure and length of times they've played. But like I said, I think you always throw everything out the window, especially when they're coming to town on your homecoming after we spoiled theirs last season. And the season before, a big win at Zerger Field for the Greenbacks to open the season up. So Hoisington is going to come to town with plenty to play for. What are we expecting this week from the Cardinals?
And same thing, they've got a lot to play for. They've got a league title to play for to win outright when they beat us. So it's going to be a spirited game. And like you said, I have, Zach and I are good friends. I have a ton of respect for him. The way he runs his program, they are top notch every way. He gets his kids to play hard. They're always going to play fundamentally sound. Man, they get downhill. They are big. They are physical. They are fast. The more kids, their engine, quarterback, and he's special. I mean, he's a really good football player. They're throwing more this year than they ever have because of him, because he's so good. And they got a lot of receivers. They got a lot of depth of talent. You know, they can rotate in. They may not have a Pedigo type, but they can rotate in a ton of guys who are super effective and really, really good football players. They're smart. And then on defense, they're going to come down and they're going to come at you and they're going to hit you and they're going to get off the ball. And they are, once again, awfully big up front. You know, the Hoffman kid, for my money, is one of the best linemen in the state, 1A through 6A. He is a really good football player. And Zach does a great job with him, like you said. And I know they're going to be up for us. Obviously, you know, us and them have went back and forth. My 4 years now, 5th year here. So it'll be a fun ball game on Friday night. Lots of people, lots of fanfare, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it will be. How do you, as a head coach, just throughout this week of practice, how do you alleviate that sense of pressure on this game from your kids, but also, not have them focus too much on the urgency of, coming off of 2 losses? What's kind of the coaching mindset of, hey guys, let's get going, but don't worry about it too much. There's that fine line of, 2 in a row, throw those out the window. We got a big game coming up. How do you get them to not delve on that, 2 losses, knowing that this is a huge game coming up?
Well, I think I'm a very big process guy. Like, it doesn't matter if we've won 4 in a row, lost 4 in a row, all that stuff's in the past. If you win, you learn from it. You lose, you learn from it. And so I think we take the lessons we've learned from those games and apply it. And everything let's go 1-0 every week. Because really it doesn't matter. The next team you're playing, it doesn't matter to them whether you've won 4 in a row or lost 4 in a row or whatever you've done, split them like we have. We know our kids respect the heck out of Hoisington. They know they're going to be physical. They know that if we don't bring it, they'll run you over and leave tire prints on you. So I think you just approach it as we always approach it every Monday, whether we win or lose, is when we get done with film, that week's over. Like, let's take the lessons and learn them, carry them to this week, but our performance is over. It doesn't matter what we did right, what we did wrong. Every game is a new game. Every week's a new week. And so I think that's the lesson. I think our kids are excited, but that's the big thing. We always tell them, keep the focus, have fun with homecoming, but understand homecoming's not very fun if you lose a game.
I know, and we've talked about that in seasons past. This homecoming week is always, there's just so much fanfare and, distraction along with it. But, it's fun for everybody, but it's also, like you said, the whole point of it is because of the football game at the end of the week. Right. Like, that's the payoff.
Right. And it's always, and especially when you got, what are they, 2nd or 3rd in every poll in 2A. I mean,
third, I saw they were 3rd at the Wichita Eagle this week. Didn't look at a whole lot of other ones, but
they're at
up
least
there.
3rd. I think the worst, and 2nd in some of them. One of them, I think the Kansas pregame magazine even had them ranked 1st preseason. They're a really good football club that's contending for a state title. So I think anytime you play in those games, man, if you can't get juiced up to play in those games, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, that's fun. And those are games. And I told our kids last week. My big thing was life's pretty ordinary when you graduate high school. You get married, you may graduate college, have kids. Other than that, it's a lot of day-to-day stuff, and you got to find the exciting in the mundane sometimes. But in high school, you get these unique, dare-to-be-great situations and these opportunities to be great and these memories. You beat a team like Hoisington Friday night that you'll get to carry for the rest of your life. That's a memory. When you gather for your 20-year reunion, you're going to talk about this game.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's an exciting thing to be a part of. So embrace that and go be great.
I like that. I like that message. That's going to do it for tonight here, Brent. You got me fired up with that little speech there. I'm going to have you be my life coach from here on out. I don't know about that.
I don't know if you want that. I don't know if you want that. Unless you want me to tell you the discount I need when I go to Legends or something like that.
No, we'll talk about that later. I'll add that to the pregame meals.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Friday night, Pratt is going to host the Hoisington Cardinals here at Zerger Field. So everybody make your way out to the field. It's going to be homecoming night, so a lot going on. There will be some inductees for the Pratt Hall of Fame. We've got a couple coming to town. So a lot of fanfare, a lot of action, pregame, halftime. Get out there early. We'll have the parade. If you can't make it to the assembly, line up here on Main Street at 3 o'clock, I believe. The parade will start down Main Street and get to see all the homecoming festivities. March down Main Street here in Pratt, and then make your way down to the ball game except for a 7 o'clock kickoff and watch your Pratt High Greenbacks take on the Hoisington Cardinals in what should be a great matchup. So, Coach Hoelting, appreciate you coming in. Best of luck this week, and we'll do it again next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Cody Eastis. We'll see you next time.